Hi, hello, good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Hope we are doing well. Please, if you can hear me, kindly send me some emojis. If you can see, if you can hear me, give me some thumbs ups. Let me know you are here. Let me know you are here in the chat box. Yes, I'm seeing you. Hi, Eno Obasekite. I can see you. Who else is there? Benedicta, I can see you. Who else? Hi, Golda. I love that emoji. Hi, Lord. It's good to see you on the call. Who else? Who else? Hi, Counselor Alfred. It's good to see you all. Wow, then I believe that you can hear me. Please, who? Nana Ansu Adane Kofrobo, please forgive me. The second, hearing you but can't see you. Oh, okay. Please, I'll work on the camera very, very soon for you to see me. Good evening once again. Hi, Adadewa. It's good to see you again. Michael Boache Ansa, it's good to see you again. Please, how is Kumasi? We are glad to see you all over the country, all over the world, joining us. Hi, hi. Who else is joining? Who else is joining? Who else is joining? Who else is joining? Okay, I believe we can all hear me. So, good evening once again, everybody. On behalf of the Ghana Academy of Christian Counselors, I warmly welcome each and every one of you to today's webinar on workplace health and safety. We are truly glad you made time to join us because this is not just another professional topic. This is about your life. Do you believe that? This is about your well being. This is about the environment we step into every single day, which is our workplaces, right? Now, when people hear the term workplace health and safety, normally, the first thing that often comes to mind is helmets, warning signs, maybe fire extinguishers on the wall. Like, do you agree with me? Whenever people hear, oh, workplace health, workplace safety, people start to think about, okay, how many fire extinguishers are in the office and all that. But today, we actually want to look beyond all of that, right? We want to look beyond all of that. That's the aim of this webinar. Safety is not only physical. I know you believe that. Safety is also emotional. Safety is also psychological. It is about whether you feel heard. It's about whether you feel protected. It's about whether you can speak up without fear. This is one of the major topics we'll be attempting today. That a lot of us are here. We are very, very much afraid to speak up at work, right? We are very, very, very scared to do that. And for many people, the most dangerous thing in their workplace is actually not even the machines that we are using. The most dangerous things we are facing in our workplace, in our work environments, are the stresses, sometimes even the silence, and most of all, the pressure at work. So today's session is going to be a little bit different, and I hope you would join us in such an endeavor, right? This is not just going to be a lecture for today. Normally we come for these webinars and then we all sit down and listen to the speaker and everything, but today we want to change it up a bit. We just don't want it to be a lecture. We want it to be a conversation. So I want you to engage. I want you to ask your questions. I want you to contribute anything. This is a very, very, very safe space. This is a very safe space. And honestly, we all want to hear from you. We want to learn from your experiences. Because the truth is, some of the most powerful insights in this session are not only with the speakers, but they are actually with you, the participants. Please, do you agree with that? It's not just our speakers that are coming to enlighten us with our powerful insights. No, no, no. Their insights are also in your hands. So, for the first part of our session, we are going to be engaging you. We are going to be asking you a lot of questions and giving you the opportunity to share what workplace safety looks like from your perspective. You know, normally when we have these sessions, the speaker will come and speak. And then once the speaker is done, we just ask questions or make contributions and then we are off. But this time, we've changed it, we've turned it all around. We want to hear from you first. We want to hear all your concerns. We want to hear all your stories, your experiences. And then our speaker can come and tackle some of these things. And if there's a need for a further session, we will do it. I hope you agree with me. Please, if you agree with me, kindly let me see some engagement, some emojis, some yeses. Yes. Hi, Councillor Tonia. Yes, yes, it's good to see you all. Thank you for the engagement. So, the first part of our session, you are going to unmute your microphone and you are going to explain some of the things you want to explain to us. This, like I said, it's an engagement, it's a conversation. We just don't want it to become a lecture. So, if you want to make a contribution, you want to ask a question, just use the raise hand feature and then I will call you and you will be free. You will feel free to do what? Answer the question I ask you for engagement purposes. But if you cannot speak, the chat box is also available. You can input all your questions, you can input all your contributions, you can input anything at all, and I would read it on your behalf. So we are zooming in straight into the first session. Into the first session. Now, I just wanted to know when we were planning this program at GACC, we were thinking about some of the questions we should ask our participants. And the number one question that came was, in one word, how would you describe safety in your current workplace? In one word, how would you describe safety in your current workplace? Please, anybody. Okay, so we have a comment in the chat. Adadewa says, being able to work efficiently and effectively without emotional stress. Wow, fantastic. Adadewa, you need to link me to your boss. Oh, wow. That you can work efficiently and effectively without emotional stress. That's fantastic. Felicia, Counselor Felicia, please, you can unmute yourself. Counselor Felicia, please, the floor is yours. Okay, I think she is having network challenges. Counselor Michael, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Counselor.
My
I would say at my workplace, there are the measures that is being put in place to ensure that each employee, as well as the employer themselves, will not get themselves injured or hurt, so as to promote a conducive atmosphere for working. That's something I can say. Thank you.
Wow, that's very, very fantastic. That's actually very, very true. When your workplace provides all these safety measures, you feel a lot more safer going into the workplace. Please, one last contribution. One last contribution, please. One last contribution. Okay, so the next question I want to ask is, have you ever felt unsafe at work? Have you ever felt unsafe at work? Like I tell you, there's a safe space, so you can freely share your experience with us. Have you ever felt unsafe at work? If yes, what was the experience? You can keep it vague so that we don't know. You don't need to mention the name of the office or where it's located. Not at all. You don't even need to mention your name at all. Yes. So, have you ever felt unsafe at work? Oh, wow. We give glory to God. Everybody has felt safe at work over here. This is fantastic. Yes, Councillor Tonia said yes. Yes, she has felt safe at work. She feels safe at work. Right. So, I think the next question we can ask then is, can you share a time when something almost went wrong at the workplace? Like something almost went wrong at your office. And if you want to like expatiate on it and let us know what exactly happened and how it was resolved, like, can you share a time where something almost went wrong? Oh, okay, Counselor Tonya says, I'm saying I don't feel safe. Oh, wow. Okay, that. Thank you for opening up to us on such a platform. We are here with you. If you would like to share a bit more about what makes you feel unsafe, and then we will take note of it, and our speaker, Reverend Professor Samuel Badonyo, will address it.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure, ma'am.
I thought the question was, has there been a time you feel unsafe? Then I responded yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, please.
That's what I was responding to. So I would like to share
Yes, please.
the
Feel free.
the few moments I felt unsafe. These are moments that when my bosses talk about the work, like nobody thinks about you. It's always about how to achieve the goal, and the work have to go on, and we have to move on. But nobody cares about your own safety, or how did you struggle, or think about the person who is delivering. So these were a few moments I felt unsafe at workplace. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for um thank you so much. Hi, please, I just wanted to digress. Please, anybody who tries to call any one of you to ask you for a code, please, it is not real. It is not from GACC. Please do not give them any code at all, no matter what. Please do not entertain any call from anyone, even if it is from me to ask you for a code. Please do not engage that person. Please, GACC will never ask you for a code. Thank you very much. Counselor Alberta, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Mine has to do with let's say in my workplace, the beginning of the year, we have to submit our plan activities to our boss to go through. You will draw your plan activities per your schedule, knowing that you have said that maybe first quarter, let's say I'm in charge of recruitment, so first quarter will do recruitment, second quarter, third quarter, and then the fourth quarter. You go through all these things, you submit your plan activities, and then you'll be there. All of a sudden, you'll be called, interview this person. Another day, interview this person, unplanned. So you feel stress, and they especially when you finish the interview, the next day the reports must be ready. And then the stress that you have to go through to let the panel members to sign their portion before you submit the work is very stressful. And I think this one is not good practice, as I can say. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Councillor Alberta. This has really, really opened our eyes to some of these things. I know there are other people on the call who may even be facing the same thing, the same thing. Thank you so much for sharing. Councillor Michael, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I think I'll answer the first question with the second question that you just asked. So whether there has been a time where you felt maybe your safety goes. So mine is with respect to I work in the hospital setting whereby sometimes the patient's relatives comes and they think once the patient is right, whatever they say, it has to be done. By the time they are done with their statement, 2 or 3, you need to exercise it or you need to make sure that whatever. So they come in and they feel that you are not providing the exact treatment that they think you should provide. Because now I think it has become wahala in this whole country whereby so these patient relatives comes or these patient once they came in and they were like, why is it that our relative is in distress and are not doing anything best with him? This person too is on max no breather and this person is being catered for. But they come in like a gang, throwing swords, attacking us, sometimes even telling us we don't know what our work. And at the long run, you realize that psychologically you become disturbed. You don't know, why is it that because I thought you thought you are doing the right thing. So that angle has been one area that our safety, and I think it boils back to the fact that we are having daytime security personnel, which we don't have a night personnel. So mostly it's also at night that they do these kind of attacks, or sometimes they come to cause these troubles. Thank you.
Wow, Councillor Michael, that's a very, very serious experience. You know, I also heard about this. You see, in with the rise of artificial intelligence, AI, a lot of patients actually do try to explain their symptoms to ChatGPT or Gemini, and then ask ChatGPT to provide a solution. So they come to the hospital, and they think they have the answers already. They think they have the answers already just because ChatGPT has told them you are going through this, you are going through that, you should be receiving this medication at this dosage and everything. And the attacks are so much, and it's very, very, very surprising how they attack people. Oh, because like Mike he said, this man called GPT. Yes, very, very true. It happens a lot. It happens a lot. And we see it in a lot of industries. I'm glad you have brought this up so that people just realize that it's not even just in their normal corporate spaces, but even in the hospitals. It's happening there. Thank you so much for sharing. Councillor Adadewa, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Please, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, please, we can.
Hello. Okay. So mine has to do with um bosses' expectations of employees. So I'm a boss myself, and most of the times some bosses expect too much from their employees. You know, you are giving your work outline, what's expected, your rules and all that. And in the course of executing your rules, bosses expect that what is not even in your work schedule, you are expected to do them. And it's putting so much emotional stress on people. So like you are doing administrative work, then you're expected to do other things like finance, operations, whenever you are called. Yes, you should be prepared for any other eventuality. But know that the person applied for a particular job, okay? And let the person be perfect or be effective in that area instead than scattering, making the person, you know, scatter or work where division of labor. The same person is doing a lot of things all in one. It doesn't make the employee efficient and effective. So this goes to employers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Counselor. You have touched on a very, very, very important topic. Normally people think the stress is coming from the employees only, but you have opened our eyes to see that even employers' expectations, I mean, sometimes they are valid, but the approach to which the expectation is measured. Yes, I think that's what you are trying to send forth. The expectations are a little too high, where one person is meant to do so much. It causes a lot of stress. One person is to play a lot of roles. That is it. Thank you so much for sharing. Counselor Desmond, please, I'll be with you very soon. Counselor Edith has put something in the chat box. It says, there are times when I have felt unappreciated. For example, no recognition given for good work I have done, while the boss and the organization at large take the credit for it. Oh, wow. This is very, 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 very true for many people. This is actually very, very, very true for many people. I have worked in the tech space and I noticed that this is actually the call of the day, where there are people working the ground, people working behind the scenes in the back end, and then the PO is the one who takes all the glory and the recognition. And even when they do that, they don't have the heart to even recommend and say, this is the person who did that. It will cause a lot of stress. Oh, so sorry, Counselor Edith. I hope that by the end of this session, with what Professor Samorimba Donyo comes to talk about, we'll be able to address all of these things. Thank you so much. Counselor Desmond, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, please go on. We can hear you,
Yes.
sir.
So, I work in an environment where we deal with recovering addicts. That is, clients who are recovering from various substances of abuse. So, especially in early recovery, sometimes clients become very aggressive when they are craving for their drug of choice. So sometimes it becomes very unsafe. And especially when maybe the first day the client is coming and let's say this client is not willing. However, his family has told him one or two lies just to bring him here. And then now counselors will have to try and convince him or her that, okay, this is the best way for you or something. Sometimes they become very aggressive. And so you either have to, we don't like using force. But when it comes to a situation where maybe the client will either hurt somebody around him or hurt himself, we'll have to use a little bit of force, or maybe we'll get the clinic, the doctor, maybe give him an injection or something. So once a while it gets unsafe where I work. Once a while. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Counselor Desmond. After this session, I will contact you personally so that I think you have a lot more to share. Maybe we'll have a talk on addiction and inmate counseling and all that. And I think you'll be a great resource to that session. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so,
Sure,
so
sure,
much for
sure,
sharing,
sure.
sir. I don't know. I was thinking about this where you see there are times when even in our workplaces, even if we are not doing the unsafe things, we watch other people do those unsafe things. Do you see? And sometimes we even ignore some safety rules. So I was wondering if anyone here could share like anything at all that unsafe people have done at your workplace that looks normal. Unsafe people have done some unsafe things at the workplace and it looks normal now. Anything unsafe that somebody in your office, a colleague at your I say office not to mean like in the like a literal office, but wherever your workplace is your office. Yes, Councillor Michael, please.
Thank you very much. I know I'm not supposed to say this. Maybe the bosses will beat me, but let me say, I think once we are healing a hurting world, maybe I might be healed through this. Uh,
Yes, sir.
there has been the instance whereby I'm talking from my side. We do go for ward rounds. Sometimes the patients are on the ward and you're going for ward rounds, and sometimes you present the case to your bosses, you give them the treatment that you've already initiated. Well, sometimes it's very difficult for them to tell you that you've done well, but they will pinpoint the bad one and in front of the patient. Is that how we manage the patient? Is that what you are supposed to do? Go back to your books and go and learn. But some way, somewhere, there is another that in every iota of nonsense, there is truth. Maybe some way, somehow, if probably would have maybe said it politely, maybe off appreciated, but only for you to realize that you are being left alone to come and see this same patient, and this same patient will be looking down upon you because this patient thinks that you are not qualified because when there was a word round your boss, and it has been going on. I'm not the only one experiencing. Sometimes the big bosses, whether the nurses or whether the prescribers or any other sector. So at the workplaces, your bosses or say one or two words just to hurt you back because I need it to. I believe it will help me to learn more about this patient, and the next time improve upon my diagnosis and what have you. But on the other hand, if you are to bombard me, say those kind of words to discourage me, I think if I see this patient, I know definitely if I should tell my boss this treatment, I know the norm is going to be the same. The value is the same, no change in value. So to me, I think I stand correct. Maybe that's what I can share with respect to something that is unsafe, but now is becoming a norm from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Counselor Michael. Um, I think this is a I don't want to say a disease per se that is creeping into a lot of workplaces and it's demoralizing. It's very, very demoralizing. And I'm very, very sure that Professor Samuel Badonyo has prepared very, very well for such a topic. We are blessed to be in some places where there's a lot of encouragement. Even when you do stuff, they give you all the credits, they praise you. I mean, it's very, very heartwarming, and you always want to do more for that company, that firm, that organization. And thank you very much for sharing again, Councillor Michael, because this has brought our minds, and we pray that these things are tackled effectively so that people are not stressed psychologically, people don't feel underappreciated. Thank you once again, Councillor Michael. Councillor Alfred, please, the floor is yours. Hello, Councillor Alfred, please, the floor is yours. Okay, I think we have a network problem. Counselor Georgina, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Good evening.
The question you just asked, I want to talk about addiction, alcohol and substance addiction, which has become common with some of the drivers who do long distance. Among the drivers, they know it keeps them awake, but you and I will attest that being alcoholic and taking those substances can never go right because it's one of the main reasons why we're having a lot of accidents. And you can also find it sometimes within some of the industries, especially the construction field. Those who do the hard work, they when you ask them, they will say that it gives them energy, it gives them the strength to go on. So something that should have been bad, I think that people around them have taken it normal because if not, it wouldn't have maybe go on for a long time. But it seems to be the practice of the day. Most of the drivers do that. Those at the construction field also do that. So that's for the question you just asked. But earlier on, I had wanted to also share our sitting postures for those of us within the offices. When you sit for a long time, the type of chair you are sitting on will determine whether you will be affected or not. And then when you sit for long hours without stretching, it also has its implications. But most of the times you realize that when there's workload, and because when you are sitting, you don't feel the pain, you may forget that you're hurting yourself until maybe after some hours when you get up, then you begin to feel the pain at your back. And as we do that for so many years, at your older age, it's going to create a lot of problems for you at your waist and at your back. So these are the two things I want to talk about. Thank you very much for the opportunity once again.
Thank you too, Counselor Georgina. Please, I think you've given me a business idea. We should do it together. We should start selling some particular office chairs so that people's waists and backs are safe.
Yeah,
Are safe.
it's serious though. It's very serious. We are hurting ourselves.
Very true. Very true. I've sometimes when I
Yeah.
charter an Uber and I speak to the drivers and you see that they've been working for hours. And imagine driving, sometimes even when I do long distance driving, by the time I get there, my entire waist it feels sore. Yet these drivers are driving for hours on end, daily, weekly, monthly, and it's very unsafe. But to make ends meet. So I'm grateful you have brought this up so that we can create some educational material to help people like this. I am going to note it down so that we work together to work on some of these educational materials. Thank you so much for your contribution. Yes, please. I think Counselor Alfred is back now.
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yeah, I was just going to contribute towards in the context of uh, some of us who are privileged to be professional counselors and the church. The church, you are supposed to report. The pastor supposed to be the head counselor, and you need to report every counseling process to the pastor. But counseling as professional, we know is privacy and confidentiality. But sometimes, if you don't do there are certain tensions. If you do, there are other consequences. But I have learned to always go by the professional way. But some will still violate that, and is very, very, very unhealthy. Even the church. So these are areas I think we need to be able to look at. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you. That's very, very insightful. Very, very insightful. Making sure there is proper accountability of all these processes. Thank you, Counselor Alfred. Counselor Lord, please.
Thank you. Good evening, all.
Good evening, sir.
My point based on I think one of our sisters already touched on it. That is the limited logistics and resources. Sometimes our companies or institutions we work with have this limited resources to work with, but when you complain to the authorities, they seems to just play around it and tell you this is what is available. So go ahead and work with it. These are some of the things that pose us into serious or dangers that at times we need to even kill ourselves to survive per day, especially I'm talking about from this because I'm from the security aspect. And this problem is there all over. It cut across with the security officers. You see that it is a serious problem. You will talk about it, they will just brush over it because the government is not providing. Everybody seems not to care about it. And also just about the furniture aspect our sister spoke about. You see, I have a similar situation that I developed some back pain, which I went to the hospital several times and I was told is because of the kind of furniture you sit on, the chair you sit on, the posture, the table, and all that, which cost me a lot. And when you look at that, the institution will not even come into even what substitute or pay back your bills. So these are some of the things that put us into serious or risk that at times when you look at it, you see that you are not even safe at where you work with. But because of ends meet, because we just want to bring something to the table, we need to force and do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Counselor Lord. That's very, very insightful. I think this problem is very, very prevalent. It's prevalent in a lot of spaces. This furniture problem is so prevalent. I've been to a lot of companies, even their receptions, the chair to wait for the receptionist to attend to you is it's metal, it's shaped in a certain way. The receptionist chair, because that person is not a boss, their chair is something else. It's a pity, and I pray that Prof can help us on how we can target some of these problems and how to arrive at solutions amicably with our employers. Thank you for sharing, Counselor. Counselor Alberta, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I want to say something about what Councillor Lord said. I think this problem is from the, what should I say, is a very serious issue when it comes to government sectors. Because in my office, the same lack of logistics issue, our official computers are not many. So some of us, we use our personal laptops, and we use personal laptops, and when there's a problem with the laptops and then you go and then you tell your boss, they will tell you that, oh, continue, you just do it. What we need is the work. There's no logistics, but they expect that you meet your deadline. And sometimes it's very difficult, very, very difficult. And there is a saying that people don't just leave the organization. Some leave the organization because of their bosses. The way your boss will talk to you, Sometimes we don't need money. We don't need gifts. A tap on your shoulder to say, so, oh, you are doing well, keep it up. That is all that we want. So I am using this channel. If Prof can at least write proposals to some of the big companies so that he can go there and then counsel some of our head of department, and then the chief executives. The only thing that they focus is on the work. Whether there is logistics or not, they just want you to work. They want the results. And sometimes it's bring a whole lot of frustration. You will come home very tired, your laptop is not working, and you must force yourself to deliver. And sometimes it's very frustrating. So if Prof can do something about it, it will go a long way to help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Councillor Alberta, for sharing that experience. I am very, very sure Prof can do something to some extent. You just need to finish us with your office details, who we should channel letters to, and then we can make sure it's possible. You know, lately, people are starting to take mental health very serious in the world, and even in our part of the world, that is Ghana. People are starting to take mental health very, very, very serious. So I'm sure they'll be ready to listen. Thank you so much for that contribution. Now, my next question is a very controversial one. And for this one, I'll be expecting, because I know there are different types of people in GACC and even on this call. And so I'd like for you to help me. Hi, kindly mute. Okay, yes. So my next question for us is, who is more responsible for safety at the workplace? Is it the employer or the employees? Who is more
It's
responsible for
both.
safety at the workplace, the employer or the employees? Councillor Georgina, the floor is yours, please. Councillor Georgina, please, you can speak. Okay, I think Councillor Georgina is having a few issues, so I'll go to Councillor Alberta.
Oh, you called me.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
okay.
I didn't hear from my end here.
Yes, please,
So
the floor is-
I believe it's both. Both employer and employee has a responsibility. So it's both. It cannot be one-sided.
Oh, okay. Please, can you explain, like, maybe in what aspect you think it's both?
Okay, for example, when it comes to the facility, the building, and the safety of the workplace, there are certain things that requires the employer to put in place. And there are some safety gadgets that needs to be given to the employee. For example, if the job requires helmets, hand gloves, and other things, and the employer fail to provide to the employees, like the sitting, we are talking about the chairs. If the employer doesn't get the appropriate chair or the good standing chair or sitting chair for the employees, he has failed from his part as an employer. Employees, on the other side, needs to also sometimes in some situations, in some organization, needs to comply with safety rules. There are places where you will tell them to wear nose mask. They will not until they see a manager coming. There are things, the PPEs I'm talking about can be provided by the employer, but the employees can refuse to wear them.
That's right.
So if the employer provides the PPEs for your safety, and you feel that there's too much heat when you wear the nose mask, so you won't wear. For example, I work in a sawmill. The logs that they brings from the bush, when it comes, there's a pit, a whole big pit that they put the logs in. Then they put chemicals. They boil the logs with the chemicals just so to make it last longer, so that insects cannot penetrate into it and spoil it. So they treat the wood, the log, with chemicals before they bring it out and take to the machines at the production field. So as you are producing, cutting and shaping them into whatever product you are supposed to do, there are some dust that comes out of it that we normally call sawdust. Very tiny particles comes out of the log. And what they forget is that that log that went into the pit with the chemicals, as you are smelling as you are getting the smell of the log in your nose, it means particles, those tiny particles are entering your nose. So that's why you are supposed to wear the nose mask. The nose mask is to save you from inhaling the small particles which have passed the chemicals, and it will go into you, and who knows in future what it will happen to you. So you refusing to wear the nose mask, you are putting yourself at risk.
Wow.
For example, there's a rule that don't come to work drunk. Don't come to work drunk. Some people will drink the last night, so in the morning there's something, there's still alcohol within them. Some of them even will top up in the morning because they need it. The body is calling for it. So they will come, you are operating the machine. The rule is that there's instruction, don't come to work drunk. Then you drink and you come and operate a machine. If it cuts off your hand, who did it?
Yourself.
So yourself. So that both parties have they are responsible. Both the employer, the employee is responsible.
Wow, thank you, Councillor Georgina. That was a very extensive explanation. Thank you. Councillor Golda. Councillor Golda Afare, please. The floor is yours. Okay, Councillor Felicia says, please, both are responsible. I wish you would unmute and tell me why you think both are responsible. Okay, Councillor Michael, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I go by what my co-councillor just said. Both are responsible. In the sense that if the employer, when it comes to the safety, the employer probably will even implement these measures or put in place certain protocols. And when these protocols are being put in place, the employee is also to ensure that all these protocols that has been put in place are being carried out. Because one, the safety is not only about, because most of the times, even if we are considering the employer probably even might even come to the workplace once in a while. And most of the job is centered on the employee. Once this job is centered on the employee, you, the employee who is working within this institution or this facility, is to ensure that these measures that are being put in place are being carried out to ensure. So we, the employee, have a role to play, and the employer also has a major role to play. So it's vice versa. You no contribution, no job, that kind of thing. So once it's not only about the employer implementing the measures, but you, the employee, what's your role to make it? So it's a teamwork. Thank you very much.
That's right. So, Councillor Michael, can you kindly let me Let's play an imaginative game, that if you were in charge today in the hospital, what is one safety rule you would enforce immediately? Let's say tomorrow you get to the office and they tell you, Councillor Michael Boachiansa, today, henceforth, you are in charge here at the hospital. What is one safety rule you would enforce immediately?
Okay, thank you very much. I think once we are talking about mental health or relating to mental health, I think one thing that I would lay much emphasis on is, okay, let me move away from the health and come to our the other side. One thing that I will lay much emphasis on is one, how we handle our patients. So in the sense that these patients are people that I believe in the perception that treat patients as if you are going to meet them in a nearby future. Because one way or the other, you might meet patient A or patient B and might treat these patients haphazardly or any kind of thing. So when you treat these patients, so the protocol has been laid down that respect patient, because in the next second, the employee or the employer or the worker can become a patient again. So it's like a cycle. So one way or the other, one thing that I implement is that one, you the worker or my colleague should make sure that the patient is being respected. So if this patient is being respected, maybe some few minutes you fall ill and probably you collapse, and you now become the patient on the other hand. And at the long run, if you become the patient on the other hand, the protocol or the implementation or the policy that was stated that respect patients' rights, now you yourself become the patient instead. So I think that's something I can say. I don't know if my explanation makes good sense. Thank you.
Please, it does. It does. Thank you so much. They should respect everyone. It's respect the patients. Thank you so much. Please, who else would like to play the scenario game with us? That is, if you were to be in charge today at your workplace, what is one safety rule you would enforce immediately? Immediately, what is one safety rule? You go into the office tomorrow and they tell you you are in charge henceforth. What is one safety rule you would enforce immediately? Councillor Alfred, please, I see that your mic is unmuted. Do you want to contribute?
Yes, I just want to share something
Yes, sir.
small. I just think safety, discipline. Because if you look at the topics, management have will always have it is in their hands to be able to look at the policies. It is the employees to be able to comply with the policies. But why these things do not work is because discipline of enforcement is not there. So the discipline of management to be able to bring in the policies, the discipline of the employees to be able to comply with. And once discipline is not enforced, then we'll be back to plan 7. Thank you.
Fantastic. That's very, very true. Very, very true. Discipline, discipline, discipline. Councillor Felicia, please.
Yes, thank you very much. In fact, I'm so sorry for not responding. I was at a place where it was very, very noisy and I couldn't have opened my mouth there. It was
No
too noisy.
problem, madam.
Sorry for that. For me, for safety, assuming I'm made in charge of my facility today, I will emphasize much on confidentiality. I've seen in so many circumstances where clients step into the facility, and if they say, "Oh, um, this person is not there," then the person will just stand back and say, "Oh, I want to see," and then you see them bombarding with calls. Assuming you just take one day off to rest, you see calls, and the reason is that a lot of them do not want to accept the fact that as a health worker or wherever you find yourself, yes, it's not only health worker, because I've worked as a receptionist before in a district assembly. And so everywhere we find ourselves, every individual wants that confidentiality. Whatever the person is shared with you remains with you. And so for me, if I am made an in charge, yes, as an in charge, I have always stressed on the fact that let us maintain confidentiality so that our patients will have that trust with us that as they are stepping in, even if there is something hidden somewhere that they wouldn't have expressed it outside or somewhere, you are the person they can rely solely on to express whatever issues that they have been hiding within themselves and God. And this is where you become a healer. This is where you become somebody who can carry their burdens for them, and they know that at least they have someone they can lean on to be able to survive on this earth. So for me, assuming I'm made an in charge today, I will stress much on confidentiality. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Counselor Felicia. Please, I have a follow-up for you, a follow-up question for you. These, as we are in the imagination world, so these perpetrators of non-confidentiality, do you think they should be punished for the safety violations?
And for me, for me on my part, um, yes, I have worked as a subordinate before. I've also worked as an in charge, a leader before. For me, what I do is this. I will sometimes, during our weekly meetings, what I will do is that I will let all of us know that, assuming you are the one that you are confronted with this situation, and then you have a problem and you went into a clinic or a particular place and shared that your problem with someone and you were taken care of, and then later on you see it everywhere, how will you feel? You just step into the shoe of that person and find yourself there. How will you feel? Let's all imagine that we are the people stepping in for help. And then at the end of the day, it is brought out for everyone to hear. How will you feel? And that one enough for a lot of change. I think that has helped some staffs to be to actually be very careful whatever they say outside after work. So I think it has helped, not necessarily punishing them, because some of them, it is attitudinal. It is something they are not doing it intentionally. It is a habitual thing. They have done it severally before, and they realize that it is normal. It has become part and parcel of them. So do they even
Mm,
feel that it is something or a crime or something they are doing that is not good?
that's
And
true.
so for some of it takes time for them to be able to change from that behavior. And so for you as a leader, you only need to put them in the shoe. Let them have an experience of it. Like assuming you are the one that is confronted with this situation, how would you feel if it is done to you? And
Mm.
a lot have actually learned lessons out of that, and they have changed. I've seen a lot of changes from people who come in and confess and like, oh, it's true, in charge. I'm so sorry. In fact, this will never happen again. Severally. Yes. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you. That's very, very, very empathic. That's a very, very nice approach to solving such a problem, that you expose them to exactly what they are doing as well. Same thing Counselor Michael brought up, that in the hospital, you are supposed to treat the patients right. If you don't treat the patient right, there will be a day you will fall and break your leg and you become a patient as well. How would you feel if the doctor treats you the way you are treating your patient currently? It's very, very important, the punitive measures we put in place for such things. Thank you so much, Councillor Felicia. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I think Councillor Georgina has seen my notes. She went ahead of me. I had a few case studies where I wanted to share with us. And then once I share with you, you are going to talk about the risks involved. Like in those case studies, we are going to identify the risks. And then in 16 minutes, we are doing this in 16 minutes. And then Reverend Professor Samuel Badonyo is going to carry us to the end of the session. So, in order not to sound repetitive, I just want to do the case study of Counselor Georgina. It says Kofi works remotely from home. We are taking it that we are in 2020 now. That is, it's COVID time, there's lockdown. So Kofi is working from home remotely. He often works from his bed or couch for long hours. He rarely takes breaks and is constantly online. Please, I can share all these case studies with you on the page. Even late into the night, responding to messages. Guess what? Kofi always says, at least I am not in danger like people in physical workplaces. Counselors, is he right? And what risks do you see with such a person? Counselor Felicia, please, is that an old hand or a new hand, please?
So sorry, so sorry. It's my own.
Okay. Please, I've put the first case study even in the WhatsApp. So we are talking about Kofi working remotely. So is he right? And what risks do you see with what Kofi is doing with regards to workplace health and safety? You see, when we hear that thing, we think that this only happens in the office. But Kofi is a remote worker. He's working from home. Yes, please, Councillor Alfred.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, he's right on his own, but now that we are going to look at the risk part is health-wise, he is not. Because the little studies I've done through a few things on health, at least for every morning, or at least research, I can be corrected respectfully, had proven that we need to have certain distances, certain movement we have to make in a day. When you are all the time seated, our co-counselor already talked about the sitting at the chair for long. That is one. Once you sit after taking a meal and you continue sitting or lying, there is health risk. Because I've also seen a research that had proven that once you eat, you need to move 10 minutes minimum. That will already bring your sugar blood level about 10 to 30%. The health people can correct me on that. So health-wise, he's not at all. By the work, for what to respond to work, he's only right over there. But health-wise, it is not. And it will lead to so many things, which also have to be concerned with health. I practically had experienced that, and after going to the hospital, I have to make research over that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Alfred. On the page, Councillor Michael said Kofi is going to experience ergonomic hazard. Wow. Councillor Michael, that's a very, very big word. Yes, but that's true. And that's the same thing Councillor Alfred is saying, that it's going to lead to a lot of problems. And those problems, you are working, you are trying to make money, and the money is going back into fixing those problems. So we need to be very, very, very careful. Now, our next case study is about a young lady called AC. AC noticed a fault in a piece of equipment that could potentially cause harm. She thought about reporting it, but the last time someone raised an issue, they were labeled as being very difficult in the workplace. So she decides to keep quiet. What's the biggest risk in such a situation with AC, with what AC is experiencing? Please, I can read it again. That AC has noticed a fault in a piece of equipment that could potentially cause harm. She thought about reporting it. However, the last time someone raised an issue at work, they were labeled as being very difficult. So she decided to keep quiet. Please, as a seasoned counselors, what do you think is the biggest risk in such a situation? Yes, please, Councillor Felicia.
Thank you very much. In fact, I think the biggest risk for her is not to report. If you don't report, is the biggest risk, because you cannot conclude that the last time somebody reported there was an issue, and so for that matter, as you're also reporting, there will be an issue. We have personality differences. Maybe depending on how the person presented it to the boss was not in a very respectful way. And so this time around, you are presenting it in a very respectful way, in a way that the boss will be aware of what is the danger that is at hand, and to correct it so that it will not bring issues to the working environment. And so I think her not reporting is the biggest risk if she decides to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Michael.
Thank you very much. To add a little, I would begin by saying that change is very difficult itself. We are
right.
whether the person is difficult or not, but the way change itself is very difficult. Especially, I think this boils back to the fact that you've entered into a new institution, and we having like this is the norm being carried out. This is what we do, and you decide to bring a change. You yourself are being named or defined as a person. So, because you want to bring the change, that moment you decide to bring the change, you are being labeled as look at the difficult person. And sometimes people start comments behind your back. Oh, he's coming. It's like second Joseph. On your way coming, and your siblings will be talking about you, blah 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 blah. But I believe one. Let me pick it from what my colleague counselor said. It depends on how you presented it. Two, even if you can't present it, I believe at our various workplaces, there is one particular person who, in quote, has found favor in the sight of the CEO or the boss. So one way or the other, you find your way around. In quote, there is an adage in local language that in quote, so sometimes you know the step or the process that you're passing through, you don't even want to calm down because this one, but one way or the other, you have to find ways that means that person who is closer to the boss, try and gain much relationship or build a stronger relationship, establish that rapport, and gradually, I believe you can creep through that and find your ways there so as to reduce that risk. But in conclusion, I'd like to say that failure to do that will boil back to affect everybody there. Because one way or the other, today I've been able to see it. It's like I've seen my colleagues eating banana and putting the peels on the floor without putting them in the rubber. The moment I went, and boss, can we get a dustbin so that, oh, go away, you like complaining. The other day, maybe the boss himself will be coming out of the car, and whilst his subordinate opened the gate for him, he decided to step out majestically with one leg. And unfortunately, he slips and he gets himself injured. So, in as much as she's being labeled as difficult, we should all bear in mind that everybody at the workplace is also at risk. So, if you label me as being difficult, one day the difficult will become a difficult situation. And you will not even get an easy answer to that. So, that's something I can add up. Thank you.
Wow. Deep insights from Councillor Felicia and Councillor Michael. Deep insights. Turn the problem into a hazard so that they can experience it. When they experience it themselves, sometimes they are willing to change for it. Councillor Lord, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. This scenario, I just like it because it is something that is happening all the time at our work field. You know, most at times we see certain this kind of things as if it's normal, but it is not normal. For you seeing an equipment that is not functioning, reporting, and you think that maybe they will tag you because once a while it happened and somebody was tagged as difficult. If you choose not to report, you using the equipment, you yourself, you are at risk. If that equipment fail, let me put myself in the shoe as a security personnel. I reported to work. Maybe weapon that I'm supposed to use for guard post is not working. And then I choose to keep my mouth shut on it. When the worst happened, I, at that guard post, I will first die. The boss sitting in the office will only say sorry for that dead soul. 24 guard salute to be given to me on my graveyard. So when you see this, you don't need to consider any other thing but to report immediately that this equipment is not working.
That's right.
Forget about what they will tag you with. Forget about the names they will call you. Even if it will cause your removal, report it and save somebody's life tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Counselor Lord. Counselor Alfred, please.
Thank you so much, and all the contributors. I just want to add something small in the context of how she sees it. By experience, I have seen that one of the conflicts we have in life generally is assumption. So instead of assuming, why don't you find out? And finding out, I think people had made a deep explanation. I just want to add this. Every environment, you always have to have three people who you think you can guide you in your decision making. The person at somebody at your level, somebody above your level, the same level, and somebody above your level. Once you talk with these three people, you'll be able to get informed direction how you do that reporting. By not reporting, you've already violated the company policy because there should be a policy. You have violated it. So why should you assume? Just put small little seconds by confirming how you will be able to do that. Thank you.
Wow, very insightful. Thank you so much, Counselor Alfred. I understand where you are. Some people are very, very much afraid of their employer. So even though this is posing a very, very severe risk, they are very, very much afraid of how they'll be tagged. But you are very right that I love the process you have given. You talk to people on your level, you talk to somebody below you, you talk to somebody above you, so that you can dispose of any form of doubt, any form of assumption you have. Oh, Counselor Alfred, that was a very, very great tip. Thank you very much. Counselor Lord, back to you, sir. Counselor Lord, please. Or this is an old hand. Okay, please, let's go to Counselor Michael.
Okay, thank you very much. Just adding a little to what your last statement. Some supervisors or some bosses are very difficult to deal with. Very, very difficult. You get some boss. For instance, my boss at work can come to that low esteem, talk to you, and he might travel like 3-4 months. He isn't around. But whatever goes on in the facility, he will get to know. Whether there has been a hazard, whether there has been a project ongoing, because he comes down to the lowest subordinate, talk to everybody. Sometimes you come and see him even talking with the oddlies, trying to interact with them just to make sure. So sometimes it's not advisable, but the moment there is a situation, there is a problem, they break that protocol, that hierarchy that they are supposed to go through, like to see this and this, because he easily speaks with them. But some other bosses, counselor, don't go there. You can't even you can't. Their doorstep, you will not even you might have the password. Have to even just type it. It will be wahala. It is going to be another one. So I think sometimes to the bosses themselves too is also another. So I pray, and this is a special request. I know you also said you had work for some people, but I also pray and hope that maybe one day our honorable professor himself maybe will have to organize a session for all CEOs and all superior, so that they also get to know the realities
Yes.
behind coming down to talk to you, the subordinates, mingling with us and also getting our consent, because sometimes we might put down just some or two procedures, protocols, or templates, and that's all for the work, probably in terms of sales, the whole of the year. But
Mm,
because we are afraid to air it out at the long run, they might probably tell us, "Who are you? How dare you?" So for them not to tell us how dare you, have to keep it and say, "How do we say?" So it
mm.
becomes wahala. And at that time, thank you very much.
Thank you, Counselor Michael. There was one time I went into a friend's office, and once I entered the office, I saw a suggestion box. When I saw the suggestion box, I was so excited. I asked this friend, wow, this your office is very, very, very liberal. Like it's very open. People can feel free and talk. People can send messages to management. Wow, this is so nice. And this, my friend was just laughing. I was wondering why he was laughing. He says, I should go back into the reception where I saw the suggestion box and I should look directly opposite the suggestion box. So when I was going, I thought maybe I'm going to see the security man or the receptionist sitting there. However, the funny thing, when I got to the suggestion box, I just started to turn my head, and lo and behold, there was a security camera, CCTV, pointed directly at the suggestion box, which means that they target, they watch. Oh. So even though you have typed your suggestion out, your problem out, and everything, when you drop it in, the CCTV has caught you. They know who. Hey, like Councilor Michael, what you are saying is very, very true. People are so scared because how can a boss put a CCTV camera directly opposite a suggestion box, something that should be anonymous? But these are some of the things people are are facing in their workplaces, right? So right before Prof comes on board, we will just handle our last case study and then we zoom into the session with Reverend Professor Samuel Ohineba. So the last case study is about a lovely young lady called Ajua. A lovely young lady called Ajua. Now, Ajua works in a company where staying late is seen as a sign of commitment. And even this staying late is rewarded massively with recognition from the employers. However, most employees regularly work 10 to 12-hour days. Hey, can you imagine? You come to work at 9 and you close at 8. Or come to work at 9, close at 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. In the office, breaks are often skipped to meet targets. So recently in Adra's office, a colleague made a mistake due to exhaustion. But guess what? Management simply warned them to be more careful next time. Management just warned the person, oh, be careful next time. Counselors, what do you think some risks can arise from Adra's company? A company where when you stay late, they even reward you for staying late. They will give you prizes. They will give you recognition. They will put your face in a frame, employee of the month. And even when you make a mistake, they tell you, oh, be careful more. We'll be more careful next time. Counselors, I'll give the floor to two people to just tell us what risks they can identify from such a quote unquote hard-working team in the office.
Please, did you say the reward comes from being late?
No, please, the reward comes from, yes, please, the reward comes from staying late. When you stay late, they reward you. When you meet your targets, they reward you. Even to the extent that when you make a mistake from exhaustion, they just simply warn you and say, be careful next time?
Well, just to thank you so much. I think it is good evening. I think it's a prepare. The risk there is long term. That company is prepared to lose, to fail. Why? It is going to people who are not committed and get reward. People will copy. So the productivity is going to be dropping, and it's not a good thing because even if we follow basic principle in life by scripture, say everybody is rewarded by what you do, and they do in this context supposed to be positivity. So why should I be late? Why should I not? Then I'll be rewarded. I'll come and say, okay, you warn me. It's it said it is not everything that glittered is gold. So we need to be careful if we find ourselves in that position. And if you look at it carefully, based on how we've been modeled up by life experience growing up, it is difficult to find people like that. Just once a while, yes, you will get. Thank you so much.
Thank you to Councillor Alfred. Please, Councillor Lord.
Yes, thank you. What I can realize it looks like the company is having an issue, and they are not trying to actually address or manage the problem or the issue they are facing, and they are only interested in the output or whatever they get at the end of the day, but they are not thinking about the workers' health because they are pushing the employer or the person people to work too hard, that and it's even leading or causing them problems, health issues, and this can cause a lot of burnout. So if management can sit down and then address whatever issue they are facing that could lead to accident, if they can sit down and address it, the reward system, it is just there to help the people to work more and to encourage them, but it is rather causing them health issues that if the worker themselves doesn't sit and watch carefully, at the end the work could be left there while they themselves are on the sick bed. So the company must address whatever issue they are facing or error, and then help the workers to do their work diligently in good health. Thank you.
Thank you to Councillor Georgina, please.
Thank you very much. I think my brother has said it all. So what will happen at the end of the day is the employee will fall sick. There will be burnout. All the money they are dashing you, you use them for medication. It's not good for your health to overwork your hours in such manner. And there's a possibility also of a bigger mistake in the future, which can bring a lot of loss or a bigger loss to the company. So it wouldn't be beneficial to, it's a long-term something that they are both at risk to suffer. So it is not healthy.
That's right. You use all the rewards to take care of your burnout and stress. Right. Councillor Desmond, please.
Okay, thank you. In such a company, depending on what kind of work goes on there, there's a possibility of accidents happening because of exhaustion. And also, just like the one who my counselor who just spoke said, there could be a mistake that can lead to loss. Because I remember the some time back, we worked in a certain bottling and bagging company around Spintex where we bag rice and then bottled oil. And there was a time that they said overtime, and this overtime after work you can stay for about 2 hours and work some more. It will come with some money. So I remember one day my friend and I we said we'll do overtime. But we were tired and we bottled the oil. At the end of the day, we met the target. But when it was for these Lebanese people, when the man came and then checked, we had about 10 or so bottles. We didn't do it correctly. And he
Mm.
got furious. He was angry that what have we done, what. So it became a confusion. As for we didn't really care. All we know is that we done overtime and we want our money. So we had to go back and forth before he gave us our money. But come to think of it, at that time the company is going to run at a loss because we didn't do a good job because we were tired, we were exhausted, and so for this company to still reward somebody for making a mistake,
Mm.
probably maybe they don't know what they are about or something. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. That was a great insight into how exhaustion, burnout can affect our productivity. So we'll take our last two answers and then we will be ready to host our Reverend Professor. So, Counselor Alberta, the floor is yours. Counselor Alberta.
Hello. Yes, thank you very much. So I will say that in such companies, their focus is not the well-being of the staff, but rather how you can work and then they get their profits. So normally they don't employ permanent staff. They employ casual people and then also temporary staff so that they can use them to achieve their aim. So if you are working there, you have to be smart and make sure that although I am working for money, but my health is at stake. That is where we have to think about it.
That's right.
The priority of the staff is not their concern. The well-being of the staff, no. Their aim is for the staff to produce to earn their profits. That is what I can say. Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you. So our last contribution, and then Reverend Professor will take over. Counselor Michael.
Thank you very much,
Oh,
Counselor. This is a very delicate situation, and if you have been there before, you understand the integrities of this thing. Sometimes I am looking at it from this angle that why should someone overwork? And is it that we are not getting skilled personnel to replace those working hours, or is because sometimes my setting, for instance, you see a facility who has employed just 3 nurses and 1 doctor, and these people are regulating the whole facility from Monday to Sunday.
Wow.
And Monday, this person has to work morning, afternoon, night, continuously like 48 hours before he can get additional 3 days off. And when you find out, they'll tell you if the nurses are many, they are not going to be productive, and there's going to be more of like a lackadaisical attitude,
Hmm.
and they are not going to show this kind of seriousness, the hard work, the level of hard work or the hard working rate will be low. But meanwhile, at the long run, this person will stay overnight for 2, 3 days just working. Sometimes wouldn't even go to see the parents or whatever. Let's
Hmm.
put that one aside. But the main concern, after which this same person has stayed at the hospital overnight. This person is overburdened,
Hmm.
and we need to rest. The body needs to rest. So at the long run, this person might even be compelled to give patient A's drug to patient B because this patient is very tired. But because we think that when we take some few employees who can work for us to achieve our target, at least we can take 3 nurses who can help us get 10,000 a month. And when we go take about 15 nurses who will still let us get 10,000 at the long run, the payment level it will affect. So I think sometimes it also boils back to one, the amount, the salary that or the incentive that they have to give to some people. So why don't I just take some few people? Then I share these incentives among them so that the long I the CEO or I the boss will get some takeover to the house rather than employing about 50 people at the long run. I myself, who is the CEO, who is the owner of the facility or institution, will just take away just 1/4 of the thing. So I think it's a very delicate situation, and I think sometimes for me, I will say selfishness also on the part of the CEOs also comes to play. I think they also have to consider us because now future complications is waiting for us. You might not think about that one.
Yeah.
But maybe once you are going for or you are going into the pension era or you are in your pension year, now the money that you were supposed to probably enjoy good living, good life, then now you are coming to spend it on hospital bills and blah 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 and what have you. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you. Pastor Georgina says they are just profit oriented. They love cheap labor and care less of the employees' interest. Very, very, very true. You have mentioned it all. So now, ladies and gentlemen, our counselors on the call, we would like to zoom in straight into our resource person for the night. And he has listened to everything you have to say. We've been listening. We have taken down all the notes for him. If you have any questions, kindly just write them in the chat box and we will ask him on your behalf. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight on our workplace health and safety webinar, would like to welcome Reverend Professor Samuel Ohineba Donyo.
Thank you very much, Sicho. Good evening, distinguished participants. I'd like to hear your voice.
Good evening,
Good evening. Today we are reflecting on a very important subject: workplace health and safety. What do many people hear when the word health and safety is mentioned? Immediately, they begin to think about fire extinguishers, helmets, first aid boxes, warning signs, or accident prevention, isn't it? Yeah, these are very important. But workplace health and safety goes far beyond that. It is about protecting the whole person, body, mind, emotions, dignity, and relationships of every worker. A truly safe workplace is not only a place where accidents do not happen. It's possible for you to go to a place where you are working and all your years of working in the place, no accident ever happened. The workplace and the workforce care so much about people feeling respected, supported, heard, protected, and valued. That is the key thing. A safe workplace is a place where workers can come to work, perform their duties, and return home physically, mentally, and emotionally safe to their families. Isn't this true?
It's very true.
It's true.
When employees know that their well-being matters, they work with confidence, commitment, and loyalty. They give their best. And this must engage, especially the human resources department of various companies. They need to create that environment and that culture where employees know that their well-being matters. I have had opportunity of working with several companies, and the HRs are just on top of these issues. As a result of the way they work, workers gain self-confidence, they are committed, and they are loyal. One important insight we must carry with us this evening is safety is more than the absence of accidents. Because a workplace may have no visible injuries, yet it can be unsafe. Staff are constantly afraid, they are bullied, they are overworked, emotionally drained, harassed, or even afraid to speak up. Then that workplace is not truly healthy. Physical safety protects the body, but psychological safety protects the mind and gives confidence and dignity to the worker. And I want to ask you a very simple question here. Do you believe that leadership plays a major role in creating this culture?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Indeed.
Yes,
Indeed.
Prof, it does. Yes.
Indeed. Safety must begin from the top. Management must not only talk about safety, they must model it. This means having clear policies, providing proper equipment, training staff, responding quickly to hazards, and showing genuine concern for workers. I can tell you, if you genuinely love people, they know it. They can feel it. They can feel it. If you are pretending and providing lip service, they know it. They can feel it. Another important lesson is that prevention is better than crisis response, fire service work. A wise organization does not wait for fire, injury, emotional breakdown, conflict, or disaster before acting. So what do? Regular inspection, staff training, investing in staff training and development, emergency drills, stress management education, psycho education. They should invest in it. Invite experts to come and help distress workers. And that would open the lines of communication that can prevent many problems before they become serious. Employees also have a role to play. Safety is not only management's responsibility. Every worker must follow safety procedures, report hazards early, use protective equipment properly, and avoid careless behavior. And of course, their colleagues who are distressed, they must support them and respect workplace rules. Because a safe workplace is built when everyone becomes responsible for someone. Let us remember that mental health is part of workplace safety. And I thank God that ODU-CCP is championing this cause in Ghana. Hitherto, mental health was not really considered an important part of work satisfaction or job satisfaction or welfare of workers. We want to think about their financial, their physical, material, and these are the physical things we think about. But mental health is a very serious thing, and it's coming down from the word very fast. And I am even glad. I'm so happy. I thank God that the Lord has positioned an institution such as ODUCCP to train mental health experts. Stress, anxiety, grief, burnout, trauma, fear, and even workplace conflict. Workplace conflict. Somebody is not talking to somebody. And I've gone to an institution where I have gone to work, and you will be so surprised how the bosses are messing up with the ladies. And even in one office, the boss is having an affair with over 3 ladies in the same office. And this has created quarrel and workplace conflict, thereby reducing concentration and increasing mistakes. A worker may be physically present at the workplace, but emotionally overwhelmed. This is why counseling. And here you are being trained, so that you can be useful in healing a wounded and emotionally hurting world. Psychological first aid, trauma support, and stress management must be included in workplace health and safety programs. And the Ghana Psychology Council is insisting that wherever there are people working, there is a need for an office that will provide counseling or mental health support. But I can tell you that there are still so many people in many institutions who have not yet come to terms with this. When you talk about this, they say we don't have money for it. We need to create that environment where people who are seeking help can be given that support. Workplaces must also take bullying, harassment, intimidation, discrimination, and abuse seriously. No organization can call itself a safe place if people are insulted, people are humiliated, threatened, sexually harassed, or emotionally wounded. Respect for human dignity is central to safety. There must also be emergency preparedness, and this is very essential. Every workplace must know what to do during fire, medical emergencies, electrical faults, violence, or evacuation. Panic reduces when people know what to do. And these simulation exercises are carried out in many institutions by the fire service. And it should continue. Where is the assembly point? What should you do when a situation like this arises? Clear exits, first aid kits, fire extinguishers, emergency contact, trained officers, and regular drills are not optional. They are necessary. Workplace health and safety is not just about rules, equipment, and inspections. It is about people. It is about protecting lives, preserving dignity, reducing fear, preventing harm, and building a workplace where people can serve with confidence and have job satisfaction. This is where a successful organization is seen, not only in meeting targets and putting pressure on people to meet targets. It is an organization that test the people who help to achieve those targets. So let us build workplaces that are not only productive, but they are also safe. They are humane, respectful, and supportive. I have handled several workplace-related counseling cases, including cases involving major companies where I have served as a counseling consultant. One case involved a worker who suffered a serious burn while working on an electrical power line. Another involved a worker whose eyes were affected when oil from a transformer accidentally spilled into them, eventually leading to blindness. In both situations, the individuals experienced significant trauma, and I was invited to provide counseling support to help them process the emotional, psychological, and practical impact of what had happened. Beyond the trauma counseling, I was also invited to assist when the company decided to retire the affected workers on medical grounds. What was my role? To support discussions around their retirement packages and helping the workers think carefully about how best to use the benefits they were receiving. In some cases, housing formed part of the package, together with a lump sum payment. I had to help the individual to reflect on their future needs, financial priorities, family responsibilities, and how to make wise and sustainable use of the money. If not done, could have resulted in a major litigation or lawsuit against the company. Having managed them very well, at least some safety compromise was arrived at, and these help the individuals accept and settle comfortably. Now, what stood out clearly in these cases was that safety had been compromised, and that failure contributed significantly to the accidents they had. These experiences have taught me that safety must never be treated lightly. Safety must remain the key word in every workplace. Sometimes the safety measures are already in place, but you will be surprised that workers do not take them seriously. Or maybe management fails to enforce them consistently. This is why compliance officers must be firm and proactive in ensuring that safety protocols are followed. Workplace safety should include not only the use of protective gears, but it must ensure that safety protocols are followed. And it must be part of operational procedures. Even medical compliance is very important, including the proper use of prescribed medication where health conditions may affect performance of safety. Compliance. There are many people who are taking BP medications and suddenly they decide we won't take it again. They must be encouraged, they must be helped to take it. It wouldn't cause any harm. If you didn't have it before, it's not a problem. But if you have had it, then the best thing is to comply and take those medications. It will not cause you any harm. I've had people who have died, suddenly collapsed and died because a man said that I was taking medication and it was affecting my potency. I am not able to erect properly, so I have stopped taking the medication. One day, this person came to a church. He was the guitarist in the church, the bass guitarist. Playing the bass guitarist, he collapsed. And by the time they rushed him to hospital, he had stroke. He was taken to referred to University of Ghana Medical Center. And when they opened his brain during the surgery, blood had already spilled in the head. He died. So I ask people who come to the clinic where I work, Prof, do you think this little drug is what is saving my life? By faith. It is Christ, it is God who is taking care of me. I'm the temple of God. No harm will befall me. I encourage them to take the medication. One bishop became delinquent and failed to comply. He was doing 40 days fasting and prayers. And every day, every night was an all night. He collapsed on the altar. By the time he was rushed to the hospital, his situation was becoming so bad. Thank God, he was referred to me, and I encourage his compliance. He is alive today. I have many more stories I could share, but for the sake of time, I will limit myself to just these two examples. The lesson is simple, very simple. When safety is ignored, lives can be permanently changed. But when safety is respected, enforced, and embraced as a culture, both workers and organizations are protected. In conclusion, I would like to say safety is cheaper than harm. If you would like to unmute your microphone and say it for me, safety is cheaper than harm.
Safety is cheaper than harm.
Please say it again.
Safety.
Safety
Safety is cheaper than harm.
Last one.
Safety is cheaper than harm.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate being with you. Please take this to your workplaces. Take it to your organization. Tell them to invest, to create a budget for mental health and wellness, holistic wellness of the workforce. The ODUCCP and the GACCP are willing to take up these jobs and provide counselors who will work in those places and earn extra income. We have the professionals. We have gone to Presec Legon during the gas explosion incident that happened some years ago. And we were able to stabilize 230 students and staff who were traumatized. We have gone to several places, organized public safety clinics, invited people who had problems, and we have been able to help them. We are still on top. As a matter of fact, you should be proud of your association, the Ghana Academy of Christian Counselors or Counseling, and also the ODUCCP. Please make recommendations, introduce the school to many people, and introduce the association as well. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you too very much, Prof. This
God bless
is
you.
very insightful. God bless you so much.
Prof, thank you and God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you, Prof.
Remain blessed. Prof. My own Prof.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Prof, for your time and that presentation. Also, I'd like to extend profound appreciation to the participants for this session we've had. It's 9:10 p.m. GMT, and you have been a fantastic audience. All the people who have contributed, I will always contact you to come and join the next sessions. Thank you so much for your contributions, your questions. Everything you mentioned made perfect sense, and you are very insightful people. Indeed, you are great counselors, and this world is a better place because of all of you. Once again, my name is Samuel Sicho Ohinebadonyo Jr., and I am the administrator for the Ghana Academy of Christian Counselors. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank
We
you
have Councillor
also.
Obey. I can see his hand.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Councillor
yes.
Obey. Secho, if you can pick, allow him
Oh, okay.
to
Yes,
ask his
please.
question, then we can close.
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
please, Councillor Obin.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity. In fact, I joined late because I was. Please, are you hearing me?
Councillor Obin, kindly repeat your question, please.
I have two issues.
Yes, sir.
I work in a very big government institution, about 9,000 workers. And after schooling, we decided to, since 2020 till now, it has been less or more yet to be approved. I've written letters here and there asking them that we have a consultant ready to assist. Normally, they will tell you that the hospital is there, this one is there. And the only thing now they have told me to do is that they'll be giving me 2 days, then I'll be around for counting. I said, we are talking about 9,000 people. 9,000, not 900, 9,000 GPH. It's until just now that they have been approved. But even that one, I put before them that we need to have a consultant and all those kind of things. And it's like nobody is trying to listen. And another thing is that this morning we went around to one of our big hospitals, IMA, and I met this young guy who had been paralyzed. And the issue was that he's working in an engine room in a ship, the local ship that we use in the port. And he went there, he went to the safety department, fire and safety, that the booth that they have given to them is not it's not oil friendly. So there's a change. According to the guy, nobody attended to it. He said, oh, this is what we have. Go and wear it. Lo and behold, unfortunate thing happened. The guy fell in the room and the whole waist, the pelvis had broken. And now, I think 35-year-old guy, if God, Mama, it may not work. So this is part of the hazard that we are talking. Thank you.
Indeed, I have worked in various organizations. What Councillor Obey is talking about, I'm privy to it. We have worked variously around the whole. But I can tell you, there are too many people who don't know what mental health is or mental well-being is. They don't know it. I think we need a lot of public education. And this is one of the reasons why ODU-CCP wants to have a radio and TV station fully dedicated or solely dedicated to mental health issues broadcast. I believe that if we take this thing up and champion it, very soon the whole nation will be oriented into specifics and what is very important when it comes to people's
well-being. I work even in a hospital, I consult in a hospital, and I can tell you, some of the doctors, especially the young ones, they don't know what this mental health issue, they don't really care about it. All they care about is to listen to a right medication for you. That is all. And they are excited about writing medicine. Of course, that is what they've been trained in. I have to constantly be taking them in clinical meetings, explaining to them the importance of mental health. And I tell you, this is a big hospital, very, very big hospital. We have a lot of doctors, over hundreds. If a referral will come, then it will come from the old doctors because they understand what this thing is all about. On several occasions, the CEO has had to encourage me to go on the wards. Because if you are there and they will not refer cases to you, you are going to be redundant. So I had to go on ward rounds and find cases and refer them to my consulting room in order to attend to them. And I tell you, there are times that I have handled the cases of clients or patients, and doctors are surprised. What did you do to our patient? What did you do? I just laugh. I just laugh. Because you see, if you are anointed by God to carry out this responsibility, He will give you the grace. There are problems to be resolved. People have come there with psychosomatic problems. People have come there having BP, their blood sugar spiking. Medications have been given to them. They are on medication, but the problem still persists. I talk to them. Then I discover that some of them are in difficult relationships and marriages. They are living with impossible human beings. I try to invite their partners to come and assist in the treatment. By the time we are done, they are completely healed. They are fine. I've worked with people who have acute stress problems, and they are fine. Now we have a lot of suicidal ideations and tendencies in many workplaces because when people are overwhelmed and they don't know what to do, the only most obvious response that comes is then take your life. Life is not worth living. It's meaningless. And without a guide, these people can even be religious. But before we realize, they are gone. So thank you very much, participants. Back to you, Sicho.
Yes, Daddy. Thank you very much, Prof, for that. And thank you, participants. Please remember that the platform is open for all of us. You can place your follow-up questions. You can put any suggestions you have, any comments, any contributions. The page is still open. We'll not close down the page. So feel free to discuss all these things on the page. Once again, thank you very much. Until our next session, my name is Sicho. Have a good night.
Night night. Bye.
Good night.
Good night. God bless you. Bye.
Bye bye.